I used to think that living with a man would make healthy eating and cooking and meal preparation so much easier. But
why?
Because you know, as well as I know, there is a mental load that comes with meal preparation and planning. And then when you buy produce, because when you're trying to eat healthy, you buy perishables and then it goes bad and then you feel wasteful or you feel like you have to eat all the food. But now in hindsight, even though I will say my husband's great and he doesn't make it too difficult, I sometimes lust after the days when I had total control over what I was eating, how much was made, and how much was left over. So today's podcast is for anybody who has lived with a man, is planning on living with a man, or currently shares a lot of meals with a man, because there are some common pitfalls we all know and share, and we're going to share some serious and maybe not so serious pieces of advice as two registered dietitians who not only have experience eating and living with men, but also that of our clients.
Yes. I've seen both sides of the coin, and I can tell you one is easier than the other.
And it might surprise you. Okay, but if you're new here, we should introduce ourselves. Why are we talking about this? Why are we getting on a podcast and talking about why eating healthy with a man comes with challenges?
I'm Megan. I'm a registered dietitian here in Orlando.
And I'm the same. I'm Kait, a registered dietitian and speaker here in Orlando. And if you've been a longtime listener to the podcast, maybe even a viewer of the video episodes we've done, you might be like, whoa, you guys are not in the Nutrition Awareness office in headquarters. We are at Hi Hello Labs in downtown Orlando, giving it a round to see how it goes, filming a podcast. So if you are listening, we're glad you're listening. But if you like to watch podcasts, this one might be fun to watch. It won't be with our iPhones in our office.
We've heard some complaints, some mild complaints about the audio quality. Yeah. So let us know if you like this one better.
Please let us know. We're happy to do it. And yeah, so we were even talking with Carlos here and about how we have over 200 episodes. And one of Megan and I's goals was to make these episodes not just good information for you, not just informative and entertaining and applicable, but also take it up from amateur level. So that's what we're going to do today.
If you've been here since episode 1 with the dogs running around in the background, thank you for sticking with us.
I can't believe, that was in my apartment where we were sharing one microphone talking about intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Still probably a pretty good episode. I'm too scared to listen to it back though.
It's gotten a lot of plays.
It does. It's one of the top performing podcasts. Well, let's jump into the pitfalls of eating healthy with a man. I'm going to start with the first one. I will say this has been the one that I struggle with on a weekly basis.
Okay.
I never have leftovers.
Bummer.
Never.
Because this is like a number one thing I talk to my clients about. If you're going to cook once, you have to eat at least 2 to 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Once in a while, I'll have leftovers. Like today, I had half of a hamburger that we grilled. And
who ate the other half?
My son.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But who's eating more than one burger? It's not me.
Yeah.
We bought more than 3 burgers. So there's that. It's fine. And a soggy salad that was left over. Okay. And then I just throw other stuff together to make it work. And I make it work. Mm-hmm. But I used to make one meal and it was perfect. And I would pre-portion it and I never had to worry about someone eating it.
You get 4 portions. You make one recipe and you have 4 portions. You don't have to cook again. You don't have to clean again.
No problem. Right. And I would eat it and it would be mine, or I could throw it in the freezer for later.
Yeah.
And then when you live with someone else, whether this is a roommate or a parent that you live with, you just have to factor in their appetite, and they control their appetite. You don't control your appetite. So here's what I've learned. Always just make a shit ton of the starch. Make a ton of potatoes, make a ton of rice. And what I do is I am this good little housewife and I dish it up for everyone. And I just make sure that everyone, specifically the man residing in my home, gets a big old portion of starch. So he gets like this big plate and it's less work. It's cheaper. I'm not going to miss a cup of white rice.
Right.
And that's kind of a strategy that works, I would say, 75% of the time.
Okay.
What about you?
So this was never an issue for me with not having leftovers, because I would always pre-portion everything into my glass containers and there's no going back. It's already in there. I would say harder for me is the want or need to get out of the home and eat out more. Because with someone, I feel like when you're living with someone, there's just this like, hey, do you want to go do something? Do you want to get out of here? Like, let's go here. It seems more fun when you're by yourself. I don't have a desire to just go eat somewhere on my own. I really only had that when I was living with someone. So now I definitely don't dine out as much as I used to.
Okay, I have a solution.
Okay.
Have a toddler with you. Going out is not.
No, I don't need to. That's what I'm saying. So like on a random Wednesday night, instead of us being like, hey, let's go grab whatever, I'll just see what's in my fridge and put something together because it's less of an effort.
Oh, okay. I hear you.
I don't need to go out. I don't want to go out more. I go out less so I'm healthier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so the people listening who might be nodding their heads along with the experience you used to have of like, oh my God, yes. Like my husband will always be like, hey, you want to go get takeout? You want to pick up, Twisty Treat?
Yes.
It's harder to say no to that because you've got somebody else like putting an idea in your head. My solution is have a toddler. And then you will be like, hell no.
Oh, meaning you don't want to go out. I thought you meant like take my toddler out to eat with me. And I'm like, no, thank you.
What, you want a rushed experience where you're constantly picking up silverware and wiping faces that don't want to be wiped?
Oh, you know what mine does? As soon as the food comes, he has to go potty.
Every time? Right?
Every single time. So we're sitting there, we're waiting for the food. The food comes and he's like, gotta go potty. No. So now I have to pick up all of our stuff and go to the bathroom and our food's just sitting there. So I don't know if they're going to think we left. I don't know if the food's still going to be there when we get back. So I always have to flag somebody down and be like, we're going to the potty. Please leave our food there.
That would be my fear. I feel like I'd have to like leave a note like, do not throw away.
Oh and then I come back to my cold food.
I hope he outgrows that. Okay, do you have any more advice for our listeners who also have the same problem as me, who have no leftovers and now they have to think about dinner multiple days a week?
Double the recipe, honeys. Double the recipe.
But what if your man has double the appetite?
He's not allowed to just eat more because you made more. Like, he needs to watch his portions too.
There's the immature answer I wanted, because some of these answers, as I was going through these notes, I was like, some of them are going to be wholesome, mature, and sometimes you just have to lose your shit and be like, you've had enough.
You can't. This is for my lunch tomorrow, or at least pre-portion your lunch for the next day or his for the next day, and there is no going back. You don't keep it in the pot, just you put it away.
Yep. And then it's forgotten about. He didn't even know it was there. Okay, so I don't want to be that person with excuses. I'm going to acknowledge that there is, at least in my house, one barrier to that, and it's usually, again, I'm going to blame my toddler. He is chaotic. He's ready to eat, and so I'm just like a lunch lady. I'm just like slopping stuff on the plate. I'm like, dishing it out as fast as I can. But I can do better at it. I can slow down.
Pre-portion.
I can slow down. Okay, let's talk about another pitfall. This isn't one that I would say I struggle with. I haven't struggled with, but I really emphasize with our clients who do. And that's, you're married to or you're living with a biohack bro who has his own very, very convicted way of eating. Right? Like, he intermittent fasts until noon. He doesn't have any carbohydrates until a certain time of day. He's just very convicted in his way of eating. He needs like red meat 6 days a week. And either he makes you feel guilty about it, or says little things about your diet, or you just feel like you have to go with it so that it's not complicated, so you don't have to make more meals, or that you don't feel like the odd one out. I think as women especially, we're more hyper aware of what we're eating compared to what somebody else is eating. So I feel like that can be really difficult.
I haven't had this experience, but I've had many clients talk to me about it, where a lot of times it's the man in the house is doing keto or carnivore.
Yep.
And how hard it makes it for them to supply the food, make the food, especially with kids too. So now dad is doing carnivore, but the kids aren't going to just eat meat, and mom doesn't want to just eat meat, but now dad isn't eating vegetables, and then the kids don't want to eat the vegetables. So it's so much more of an effort to make a healthy, well-balanced meal for yourself when no one else in your house is making the effort to do so.
Hey moms, are you there? I have a little gift for you guys. So if you don't know, I am in the thick of motherhood right now. I'm pregnant, I'm chasing my toddler everywhere, and I'm still working. And throughout all of this, I still prioritize my health and my nutrition and what my family eats. I've just had to change my expectations on how I show up in the kitchen in this current season of life. And I bet you do too. I don't have the luxury of spending 60 minutes in the kitchen every night trying a new recipe or dedicating my entire Sunday to meal planning and meal prepping. It's just not the reality. I've had to simplify everything so that I can stay a hot mom. Okay, but I have a different definition of being a hot mom, right? It might not be what you picture. To me, a hot mom is healthy, she is organized, and she is thriving, because to thrive is a choice. We can let the chaos of motherhood keep us going through the drive-thru every single night, or we can choose to just be on our shit, frankly, and make sure that we are fueling our body well. So I created a little guide for all my fellow moms, all my fellow hot moms who want to have access to really simple recipes and a simple framework that helps ensure their body is getting everything it needs every single time they eat. So I have gifted you guys a free guide. It's the Hot Moms Full Plate Method. It includes 21 different recipes that all take under 20 minutes, and they're tasty and they're balanced. And I have taught you my framework, my plate framework, so that you have a simple strategy to putting together your own meals that help you feel full and focused and energized and honestly just hot, right? Because being hungry and deprived and tired doesn't make you feel hot. So if you want to get this guide, you can get it at katerichardsonrd.com/4-hot-moms. Don't worry, I've just linked that in the show notes. So you can go there and get the guide for free, no strings attached. And I hope this guide helps my fellow hot moms feel their best every single day. Yeah, and that's even if you have kids who aren't picky eaters. If you have kids in the house who also have special dietary needs, or maybe they're picky eaters or have sensory issues, I mean, that just adds fuel to the fire. Mm-hmm. So I would almost say that this is one of the hardest things to tackle. I mean, obviously there's so many different challenges that come with eating healthy, but living with somebody who has very set in their ways ideas of what they should be eating, and they're not willing, or they're just not in the habit, or they don't have the time, or it's not your discussed roles in the house for them to actually prepare and make that food, it adds a lot of mental stress.
Especially when it's something that you butt heads on. Yeah. One of my clients whose husband has been keto for a very long time gets on her about eating carbs.
Oh, no.
Because he is so far down that rabbit hole of believing that carbs are the devil and carbs are so bad for you that when he sees carbs on her plate, like, she knows she's getting the judgment.
How did you resolve that? How did she get through that?
So, I mean, the thing that I keep telling her is stay in your own lane. And she's also discussed this with her therapist. And the therapist has kind of said, like, it's none of his business, but it's also none of your business, because she kind of comes back at him as well, because she doesn't believe that keto is the healthiest way to eat. So they have two very different opinions and have kind of decided we just don't talk about food in our house, which I think can be really isolating, because food is a way that you can come together as a couple or as a family. So it's definitely been a hard experience that she's continuing to work through. But for right now, they're both just so butting heads on it that they've decided to just kind of table it.
Well, that feels like when two people have almost different religions, because I wouldn't compare nutrition to religion, but some people feel as passionately about wellness related type things like nutrition and exercise as they do religion. Yeah, that would be hard. I almost feel like that would bring out a very immature, manipulative side of me. I feel like I would get defensive. I feel like I would try to drop know-it-all knowledge bombs. But I think that therapist actually had great advice, which is, at the end of the day, if you don't want somebody to be poking around about what you eat, then don't poke around and lecture them. And act like
because she wanted to get back at him because she saw him eating carbs. Like, he was eating something with carbs in it, and she wanted to say something so bad, to be like, all the times that you've said this to me, and now look at what you're doing. And she's like, I had to bite my tongue because I knew it was none of my business, just like it's none of his business what I'm eating. And they go their separate ways. He makes his own, she makes his own.
Do they go out to eat together ever?
They do, yeah. Like, they go on vacation together, and I think he relaxes a little bit more on vacation, and her style is more relaxed to begin with. So I think on vacation it's okay, but at home he's a little more on the strict side.
I can imagine that this challenge would come up for certain personality types, or it would feel harder for certain personality types. I know there's some personality types that could literally just look at their husband or boyfriend or spouse and be like, buzz off, like, I'm going to eat my sweet potato, and if you don't like it, you can go find somebody else. But for other people, I imagine, because there is so much shame and guilt around food, especially carbs already, that it can just honestly cause not just potentially physical issues, but mental issues. I think the best thing to do is what your therapist said, which is mind your plate and let them mind theirs, and really put your foot down and say, hey, I need you to stop commenting and telling me what to eat. I know my body. I have a different body than you. I have different hormones. I have a different digestive system. I appreciate your input, and I'll come to you if I need advice on how to just eat fat all day. But for now, I'm just going to keep my regular bowel movements with all of my fiber from complex carbs. That's what I'd say about that. See, I get catty with it. I would start like dropping stuff about colon cancer.
Yeah. And the thing is, you know, I've even heard some clients say, like, I wish that they were more on board with what I'm doing, or they would call me out on my shit. Like if I'm eating snacks at night, like they would call me out. And I'm like, no, you never want that other side of it. Because I've had so many people on the other side of it. And trust me, you start eating in secret. You don't want them to see what you're eating. That's much worse.
It's much worse.
It's better if they don't notice what you're eating, and don't expect them to be your cheerleader through it.
Oh, I think that's such a beautiful perspective, because unless you've been through it or heard about someone going through it, you don't know. You know, it actually brings me to the third struggle, which is almost on the opposite side of the spectrum, is when you are dating or married to somebody who always wants to keep goodies in the house, and throwing excessive stuff away feels wasteful. Like I had a client who got a bunch of stuff for, like, I can't remember what event it was, but they just had a plethora of treats and baked goods at their house. And she wanted to ditch it after a couple days. And he was like, no, like, let's keep it. I want it.
Yeah.
Oh, or they have a partner who always needs certain snack foods around, or a pint of ice cream. And oftentimes what I hear is our client will say, I don't even want those stuff. But then when I see him eating it, I want it. And then she has to like dig deep, either not to have it, she's got to go eat something else that's healthier, or she just gives in.
For sure.
And the other person is just not willing to find a compromise or give those
they're
things
happy
up.
with what they're doing, and they're going to bring that stuff home. And if you have a problem with it, sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be around. That's tough.
Well, I'll tell you, I think that's really tough. And I think that's a great point for that specific person to take massive accountability and ownership. And it's like a skill that takes a lot of, I think, time and patience with oneself.
Yeah.
So this is what I always do. If this is somebody's situation, of course, we first go, well, what do you eat in a day? We go through all the things they're eating. We better understand if they are having blood sugar swings, if they are depleted of nutrients, if they're already setting themselves up for failure just because of the choices they're making through the day. Because typically if somebody is well nourished, they're not depleted of carbohydrates or fiber or protein or healthy fats or whatever it is so much easier to say no to whatever crap's around the house. But if they're not, it's going to feel impossible. And so we have to make sure that the client we're working with, in this case, we'll just say it's a woman, is well-nourished, a well-nourished woman. Then she has an easier time saying no. And then after that, you might have to have a conversation like, hey, can you eat that away from me? Can you keep it in your home office?
Or is it something where there's something that they really love?
Yeah.
But you don't care that much about, like an oatmeal cream pie. Like maybe that's their thing, but you're like, no. Or Oreos or something where you're like, I don't really care if I ever have that, but they love it. Find something like that they can always keep in the house that doesn't really tempt you.
I don't know why this comes to mind. For me, it would be Rolos.
Yeah, so the reason,
I
I said oatmeal cream pie because when my dad is in my house, so my dad lives many states away, so when he comes to visit, he eats very vastly different than I do, but I know I have to stock my house with the things that he'll eat, and he will eat things like oatmeal cream pie. He'll eat any kind of sweet, but I know if I eat those, I'm never going to be tempted to open up that plastic bag and eat one of those. Versus if I'm buying freshly baked cookies from Gideon's, I'm going to go to that every night that they're there. And he would enjoy them too, but he'll enjoy the little duplex cookies just as well that I don't care about. So I'll make, and same thing with chips. Like I'll buy a flavor of chips that I don't care about, that I know he'll eat, but it's not going to tempt me.
Okay, is there a chip that would tempt you?
I mean, I'm into tortilla chips, but I don't feel bad about eating those.
That's mine too.
Yeah.
Tortilla chips and salsa.
Yes.
I've seen things on Instagram where they're like, tell me you grew up in an ingredient household, and they will feature corn chips and salsa as if that's like an ingredient household snack.
What is an ingredient household? I don't know what this means.
Oh, okay. So I grew up in an ingredient household. So it's where you don't have a lot of snack foods.
Okay.
You simply, if you want to go and eat something, like if you're just grazing or you're hungry, all you have stocked is ingredients. So growing up, I had ingredients, and then we'd have like Atkins products, and then my dad's Cheez-Its, and that's like it. So that was always, and you know, I love Cheez-Its, but you can only eat so many Cheez-Its. So I would go to my friend's house, and I would just go nuts because they would have like Diet Coke and Gushers and fruit roll and like all these things, and my house was mostly an ingredient house.
Mine was opposite. Mine was all highly processed foods and no ingredients to make anything unless it was like rice-a-roni.
Yeah, or hamburger helper.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing, that the ingredients households, what was acceptable was, and it's true, was chips and salsa.
Got it.
And I just love chips and salsa.
Yeah, I would go for that for sure.
But like Doritos, or I'll buy something that's like ranch flavored or anything that's like almost kid-like, because that won't tempt me either.
Yeah.
Okay, so for these women, I think it really is all about, are you nourished? Are you taken care of? You really don't need to be eating after dinner most nights or just mindlessly snacking. We need to put real food into your everyday diet so that you feel in control. And that way your husband can graze on whatever he wants to graze on, and you can sit there and feel really good about taking accountability and taking ownership.
Another thing you can do is find something that you really enjoy. Like, I love those skinny dipped peanut butter cups.
Oh, yeah.
I love those. And I think they're such a treat. And so if he's having something that's over the top and I don't feel like I need that, I can have one of those peanut butter cups and be perfectly satisfied. So keeping things like that, like maybe the Yasso bars or the little Unreal coconut things that we have in our office, something that you enjoy that you can just kind of check the box.
You know what I enjoy? It's not as good, like ingredient wise. I love a special dark Hershey's chocolate square.
You do? Interesting.
Yep. They take forever to melt in your mouth, and they're great and they're perfect.
Okay.
I think another thing that's worth noting, and this is a skill that you'd want to work with a dietitian because it takes practice and you're going to mess up a few times, is when you first see somebody eating something that you maybe don't really even like that much or you didn't really want. Like, let's say your man's got a bowl of ice cream and he's just over there clanging the dishes around, and you're just like, oh my gosh. Do a body scan. Like, really ask yourself, like, am I hungry? Do I really like that? How's that going to make me feel afterwards? How's it going to impact my sleep? Can I have just a bite of his and feel satisfied and stop? Or like you said, is there something else that will just take the edge off, like a healthier, individually wrapped piece of chocolate?
Yeah.
And I think that pause, that intentional pause and body scan will help you feel better in any decision that you make, because sometimes you do really want the ice cream. It's Friday and you're like having a time on the couch and it's fun. But if it becomes habitual and it feels compulsive, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of sweets, let's talk about another pitfall.
Okay.
You are dating or married to somebody who, when they go out to eat, they do it big. They want the pitcher of margaritas. They want the appetizer. They want the dessert.
Yes.
They want to like split everything.
Yes.
And it's just all in front of your face. And they have that like BDE, that big dick energy where they just order everything.
Yes.
Okay, that's hard.
It is, because it's an event. You want to have fun. You want to try all the things, but do you really need 2 entrees, 2 appetizers, and both desserts and drinks?
Sometimes he'll say yes.
Sometimes, yes. I mean, if you're celebrating on a Saturday, that's fine. Go do that. But if it's like a random Wednesday and we're still doing that, come on, we got to reel it in.
When you do it 2 or 3 times a week.
You got to reel it in.
So again, I would say this piece of advice is, first, let's go back and see what you're eating during the day. Okay. Are there nutritional gaps that are setting you up for failure? That's always going to be my number one. Like, we've got to make sure that you're nourished, you're balanced, you're set. Number 2 is, I have a rule, and I have not come up with a clever name with it yet. It's a really lame name. I've made a whole podcast episode about it. But every time I tell this to a client, it like really clicks. And I give this to the people who go out to eat a lot, the social butterfly, and the client entertainers, the ones who have jobs where they are just supposed to, schmooze their clients and order everything. So if anyone comes up with a better name for this, please let me know. It's called the 2 out of 6 rule. If you saw me before 2023, it was a 2 out of 5 rule. Okay.
I want to know what the sixth thing you added.
So here's the rule: is if you go out to eat more than twice a week, okay, it's not just a special occasion every now and then. This is a more regular thing for you and your partner or family. There are 6 things that I would consider extra or less healthy, and you get to pick 2 of them at a time to enjoy. Okay, so you're not deprived and you're not overdoing it. The first is a chip or bread basket. So if you're at Italian, if you're at Mexican, and they just put that thing in front of you, that counts as your one appetizer. And I'm not talking about like tuna tartare or something really light and obviously better for you. I'm talking the fried stuff, the cheese dip, the heavy things that you would get at like TGI Fridays that are like just obviously not healthy. 3 is going to be a sweetened beverage. So this could be alcohol or it could be an Arnold Palmer. Like, God love my dad. When he doesn't want to drink alcohol, he'll suck down like 3 Arnold Palmers. And we're like, Dad, just a lemonade and sweet tea. So 1 sweetened beverage. So if you want 2 drinks, that's your 2. So whether it's a wine, whether it's, I would even say alcohol, even if it's not mixed with anything, like a shot of bourbon, that's it. The 4th thing is a really like decadent entree. I can't think of a better phrase for this, but it's going to be like your bacon cheeseburger. It's
chimichanga.
Your chimichanga, right? It's going to be smothered in cheese, a creamy pasta, obviously something that's usually really high in fat. The next thing is going to be a fried side. So fried onion rings, French fries, or something that's really decadent like cheesy scalloped potatoes.
Mac and cheese, lobster mac and cheese.
Are you getting hungry? And then the last thing is a dessert. A split dessert, ideally. Mm-hmm. So that way you can really think about, well, what are the 2 things that are really worth it for me? So let's say you're at a Mexican restaurant, the chips and salsa are there, your husband wants queso, he orders a pitcher of margaritas, and you know that he's going to want to split a plate of churros at the end or whatever. What 2 are important to you? In that situation, what would you pick?
I would pick the chips and salsa for sure.
Me too.
Way more important than, You're less strict than I am. I tell people, pick your treat. You get one. Yeah.
Okay.
Pick your treat.
Pick your treat.
Unless it's, like we talked about, it's the big Saturday night, you're celebrating something. But if it's a normal night and you do this every week, pick your treat.
Yeah. Well, hey, you can do the 1 out of 6 rule. But I'm going to leave a little flexibility, 1 to 6.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do. And I would stick to that. And you will feel great. You will walk out of there. You won't feel deprived. And you will have said no to something. Mm-hmm. I'm almost always going to pick the healthier entree in certain places because I'd rather kind of like treat on the fried fun stuff.
Yeah. Mine is, okay, so my boyfriend right now, when we go to a coffee shop, he not only gets a sweet coffee, which I never liked sweet coffees.
Me neither.
Well, guess what? They're actually really good. If you try, I was like, that's gross. Why would you order a strawberry shortcake latte? They're actually delicious. Not only that, but then he has to get like a sweet treat with it. So, of course, I want to try the whatever croissant or Danish or whatever it is. But prior to that, I would never be tempted by that. I would get my cortado and get out the door.
So what about when you're alone now? Okay, no issues.
No.
It's just when you're together.
Mm-hmm.
Does it always feel worth it because it was a shared experience? Or do you ever walk away being like, ugh?
I will say we went to get burritos and then went to a donut place right after, and that kind of felt like, oh. Yeah. But generally it feels really fun and exciting and an experience. And I love that. I love having food experiences, but I don't always need to have the sweet treat with the coffee because we're probably also going to have breakfast.
Yeah. And maybe dessert later.
Right. This is just, I have no solution to it. It just makes it harder.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think if I were in that situation, I would say that doesn't happen to us normally. I think me and my husband we're both going to go for a plain coffee, or I just do milk and coffee. It's savory things that I feel more tempted by, like more of the higher fat things in the first half of the day. Like I'm going to be way more tempted by like a plate of like crispy fried bacon, which would probably shock Kate from like 4 years ago.
Yeah, shocks me.
Now I crave steak. I used to never eat red meat, and Megan would always give me trouble. Now I'm like, give me a steak. But yeah, I'm more tempted by like the fattier fried things now. And I'm probably the bad influence with sweets. Because my husband said before he lived with me, he was not interested in sugar. And now he is. But I don't really feel like a sugary coffee, a baked good in the morning. To me, I'm already thinking about how tired I'm going to feel afterward. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather just sneak a bite of somebody's and be like, I'm good.
Right.
Okay, I had one more pitfall. I don't think either of us have this issue. but I feel for the women who do. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Women who are married or dating a picky Pete or a beige Brian.
I've done it before. I've dated before, yeah, where it's like hot dogs and mac and cheese are your favorite. Like you've never moved past your 8-year-old preferences.
Yeah. Your plate, it looks like Thanksgiving every day. It's just beige, brown, and
We call
tan.
salad rabbit food. I'm not going to eat that rabbit food. I mean, I knew that wasn't going to go anywhere, but for the time being.
You know what my favorite is when like the good old boys, when we're giving them our lists and we're going through all the healthy complex carbs or vegetables, they'll either say, what is quinoa? I ain't eating quinoa. And they mean quinoa. Or they're like, no kale. You know?
Yes, no kale. Kale's not on the list. I had a client yesterday. I love him so much. He was like, he came in. This is the second time he came in. And the first thing he said to me was, do you eat this stuff? And I was like, wait, what stuff? What are we talking about? And he's like, just any of this stuff. Any of this stuff. Do you eat this stuff? And I was like, what stuff? And he's like, those English muffins. He's talking about the Ezekiel English muffins. I'm like, yes, I love them. And I have so many clients who love them. He's like, I'd rather not eat. I would rather not eat. Like I took his crackers away from him because his A1C is like in the 6s and he eats crackers all the time. And I gave him like 4 different cracker options. His wife came with him and she loved the flackers, the seed crackers. She's like, oh, those are so good. And he was like, I'll just die before I eat those. And he just doesn't eat crackers at all. He's just decided if all this stuff is off the table for me, like I might as well not eat it. And
he needs to try a few more. Because I will admit, the flackers I think are pretty gross.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, I can do most healthy crackers, but they're kind of sweet.
I like the like seediness of them. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not for me, but he needs to try something else. But that's so funny, right? Because he's like, well, maybe you don't need to be eating crackers anyway. Because
he's just decided I don't do any of the healthy things. Unless it's something that's like has been on my list before, I'm not going to keep trying all this. Although he did love the Icelandic yogurt. And I was like, see, we had a win. We got a win here. And he's eating cashews now. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so sometimes it takes people's taste buds a while to adapt. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's willing, he's in this. He's coming to you. He's like, I need to eat healthier. He kind of hit that point. What about the women who their husbands aren't at that point? Maybe they have a pre-existing condition and they know they should eat better, but they don't want to. Or maybe they just don't care. Or maybe they work blue-collar jobs and they are active all day and they come home and they just want to eat all of the carbs and they're not interested in whatever healthier things that whoever's cooking is making.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's tough. And I've had wives basically make their husbands come to me.
Yeah.
Because they want them to care.
You can't make them care.
I can't make them care. I've tried. I can't make them care.
I think there comes a point in every woman's life, whether it's with food or with something else, where she just has to put her foot down and say, I'm doing this for me. I'm going to make the food that has vegetables. If you want to pick out every little diced zucchini out of the casserole, be my guest. I'm not making 2 casseroles. I feel like shit. I need to eat better. If you don't like it, go make a peanut butter and jelly. Mm-hmm. Go make a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
He's a grown man.
Tough love.
And that can be really hard. I feel I can acknowledge that that's really hard, especially if you've been married or with someone for an extended amount of time and there's an expectation there. Sometimes people don't like change, but you can't just eat spaghetti every single night and feel good. Mm-hmm. You know, as we get older, we just feel those things more. And if you have a partner who's not willing to do it, you do have to get creative with either how you serve things or with how you present things. And if he's still not willing, you say, well, too bad, Charlie.
We've talked about this a lot on the podcast, where if you want to be your best self or your healthiest self or your most well self, sometimes that takes a little bit of selfishness.
It does.
But not in a negative way. Like, to be selfish and to be your best, that's how you can give your best to other people. You're not going to be able to do that eating spaghetti and pizza or hot dogs and macaroni.
You know what about the selfish piece? I've been really working on like a keynote for that. I can't quite get it there.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit. With the kids, what we were talking about, like feeding your kids. And because, the toddlers make it tough too.
Yeah, they make it tough. And what I find is that when you're so selfless with food, you kind of wear it as a badge of honor, but you start to feel resentful, you burn out, or there's some other unintended consequence. In this case, it'd be your health or your nutrition. But then when you choose to be selfish, you actually step into a place of self-leadership. And that feels so good to be like, I know this is hard for the family. I know nobody wants to eat vegetables, and I'm going to make them anyway because it's good for you. And I understand if you don't want to eat it, you can go to the fridge and make yourself something. And if your kids aren't old enough, we talked about that on that podcast, throw them in some dino nuggets in the oven, put together a healthy PB&J. You're not going to win a gold star for like, healthiest, most culinary, mind-blowing dinner for your kid. Yeah. But you ate healthy and you're setting a good example. And they're going to look back at that and be like, wow, mom really like took care of herself. And I think I get a high from that. I love being like, I'm gonna do what I want. And luckily, I'm blessed in my husband. He's not too picky, and there's only a few things that he'll gripe about, so I'll give him credit there. But I just can imagine,
grow up.
People need to grow
up.
Some people need to just grow up, and you have to sometimes be the leader. I tell women in my house, I'm the chief food officer. I'm the CFO.
Yeah.
So the chief food officer is going to take input, but at the end of the day, it's her role. If you're the CFO, you get to decide, this is what's for dinner. This is what we're eating. Here's why. It's good for you.
I made an executive decision for the business of this household. Yeah. And it includes vegetables.
And that's done. Yeah. Here's one that's hard, though. This is for the ones who prefer to eat plant-based, but their husbands have to have a meat at every meal.
Yeah, that's tough. I do have a long-term client that I've worked with who she went plant-based because it was really important to her husband. And we have found that it just doesn't work very well for her body. And so she has started eating protein and he continues to be plant-based. The good thing about their situation is he's not super picky and he'll do like all the plant-based alternatives. Okay. So she'll just make a regular meal for herself and then do a plant-based alternative to him, and he'll have whatever all the sides are with the meal. But it took a while for her to get to that point where she would be selfish for herself and eat the meat, but she feels way better.
And honestly, summing up all of these issues is own it. Just like own your shit. Hey, have I told you about my new acronym?
No.
About how to be a hot mom?
No.
Okay, so I'm working on this thing on how to be a hot mom. I wrote my first Substack. I was like up late one night, just like, like in the lab. And if you don't know what Substack is, it's just people writing essays. And you can pay to subscribe to them, or you can just read them for free. So all mine are free. But I came up with an acronym about being a hot mom because I want to be a hot mom. But like, what do you picture when you think of a hot mom?
Aloe workout gear.
Range Rover, like size 4, like bad bitch energy. Okay, so I just don't have that. I think I'm beautiful, but not in like the stereotypical like aloe yoga Range Rover hot mom, Pilates princess image that comes to mind. So my version of a hot mom is she's healthy, she's on it, and she's thriving. And so obviously healthy nutrition, but on it means she doesn't make excuses. She is on feeding herself. She is on it when it comes to meal planning, meal preparation, thinking about what goes in her body. She's just on it. And then the thriving piece is that she chooses to thrive. She doesn't let the chaos or the excuses of motherhood or, even being a spouse or a career woman keep her from it. Like she chooses to thrive.
Ooh.
Is it
yeah.
good?
Yeah, because it's putting you in the driver's seat. Yeah. It's putting all the responsibility kind of like, you can have all the excuses in the world, or you can choose to thrive, just be on it.
It's a choice. Healthy. I think when you become a mom, you realize like you can get sucked into how hard it is and just kind of become this person who's suffering in motherhood, or you can choose to thrive. And I really think, especially when you have a partner with different eating or health preferences as you, it is an extra challenge. But if you just own what you need, maybe you go and see a dietitian and really clarify what that means and how to set yourself up for success, you will feel better. Not even just physically, but I think spiritually.
Yeah. Similar to your hot mom mantra, my word of Q1 is rise. So to me, that means rise, like get your ass out of bed and go to hot yoga at 6 a.m.
Period.
It means rise above the bullshit. People are bringing you bullshit. Go above it.
I feel like I should be in church.
So in all aspects, just rise. And I've written it in my planner. I wrote it on my whiteboard at home. Just rise.
I love that. I feel like I'm going to need that one in my postpartum.
Yes. Just text you. Rise.
Well, any other closing remarks you want to make for
something I wanted to know for our male listeners who we just shit on for a full 40 minutes, is there anything from your perspective that is similar to this with living with a woman? So I think from most female perspectives, they're going to agree men make it harder to eat healthy for a myriad of reasons. Is there anything that we make it harder for you to do? Because I would assume eating healthier would be easier, because I know it's a stereotype, but a lot of times women are more into the food and the preparations. You know, sometimes it goes the other way around, but usually women are the good influence in this scenario.
Well, I think there's studies that show that married men live longer.
Yeah, and we all die. We all just die sooner.
I think the theory is because we're more on top of the nutrition and health. I can think of two things. One, I would put my middle finger up if a man said this, but one I can own as myself.
Okay.
And I get this feedback from my husband. I cook with way too many dishes. I'm not mixing things that don't need to be mixed in a skillet. I'm not afraid to use 2 different baking sheets instead of cramming it all into one, so I get the perfect crisp. And so I make more dishes, and the way we do it in our house is I cook, he cleans the dishes. So I make his life harder in that case, but
he also has a meal,
sorry.
So he wouldn't have the meal if he didn't have the dishes.
So there's that.
Okay.
Here's the one that I would expect maybe someone to hear or say, but I would roll my eyes, is you're always nagging at me to eat healthier. Get off my back.
Yeah, maybe. I can't think of anything food related. What I thought of was hair in the sink.
Yeah.
Hair in the sink, hair down the drain.
So much hair.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think that'd be the one. Maybe like sometimes I don't buy enough food. Like I've kind of had to learn to like buy more than I think, because I can't really keep up with how much other people eat. You know?
Yeah, but your food, there's still things stocked because of you. So you're still making it easier.
CFO. It's my role.
Still making it easier.
Well, guys, at the end of the day, I think with this is whether you're a man, woman, living with a man, you own your own choices. Somebody else is going to influence you, but you have the power to make your own decisions. So if you are wondering, well, how do I really step into this? What should I even be eating? How do I make this work in my household? We invite you to make an initial consultation with one of us. We're local to Orlando. We do virtual nationwide, actually even worldwide, but nationwide. You can meet with us and we will help you create an action plan and get you started on the path of success to owning your nutrition, owning your health. It's up to you.
You can find us at orlandodietitian.com and on Instagram at nutrition.awareness.
All right, guys, we will see you in the next episode.